Welcome to our new summer series where each Friday throughout the month of August, I'll be paying two designers to go head to head to create a logo based on the same brief, with the prices increasing each week. We'll get to see how different people tackle the same brief and learn about their design process along the way. Each designer has set their own price for what they typically charge, and I won't find out how much I've paid them until I've seen their final work at the end of the video. They both have 1 week to complete the work, and the winner also gets a $100 Amazon gift card because the YouTube algorithm loves a winner. So let's meet this week's designers.
Hey guys, I'm Daniel Mejia. I am originally from Honduras, but I'm living here in Austin, Texas, and I have been a graphic designer for maybe 4 years, and specifically in logos for maybe 2. My favorite portfolio piece would have to be, it's at the top of my website, it's called La Fuente Cafe, which is just some branding for a Hispanic inspired coffee shop. That piece is my favorite, I think, just because of the story that it has. Just it's a fun brief. I'm a Hispanic, and so being able to tap into sort of the culture of Latin America while making all those different, just expanding that brand, I think was really fun.
Hello, I'm Jay. I'm a junior graphic designer by day and a freelancer by night. I'm living up in the northeast of Scotland, where I'm originally from. So I've been an all-round graphic designer for around 5 or 6 years. Once I started college in 2018. After I graduated last year, I've been specialising in logo design mainly, just for about a year, just having fun with it. My favourite logo design piece from my portfolio has to be one of my university projects from last year. I rebranded a local chocolate shop and bread maker sort of business called Truffalos. It's not by far my actual favourite design, as in the final design, but I got to work with a client on a live brief, and I got to take their old branding and then regenerate into something brand new so it reflects their products, because their chocolates are amazing.
All right, guys, it's time to look at the brief. So the company you are branding is Moonrise. Moonrise is a hard kombucha brand that embodies a mystical and ethereal essence with their unique alcoholic flavors. It is a new sister brand of their original product, Sunrise Kombucha. Sunrise is their main and most popular line of kombucha, which is geared towards individuals who like to drink kombucha during the day for optimum health benefits. They are now ready to launch their hard version of the beverages, Moonrise, designed to be consumed in the evening in moderation. The logo will be used on product packaging, merchandise, and digital platforms. It's important that the phrase hard kombucha is displayed as some sort of tagline, or is displayed prominently, as well as the alcohol percentage, which is 3.5 ABV. So there is a clear distinction between the two product lines. Some of the key words for the brand are hard kombucha, mystical, celestial, cosmic, dark and mysterious, ethereal, and organic. The target audience are for those who are 21 to 40. The main competitors are Boochcraft, Giant with a J, and Strange Beast by Sierra Nevada. That is the brief that you're going to be working on. Would love to know your thoughts about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's a fun brief, and yeah, thanks for bringing me along.
All good. Sounds fun.
Guys, we're really excited to see what you're going to come up with. We'll talk to you in a week. You can pause the video now if you want to design your own logo before seeing their work. The brief is in the description. Now I've told Daniel and Jay the brief, let's see how they're feeling about the challenge.
My initial ideas, just based off of the brief, is to lean into those kind of keywords you mentioned, mystery, dark, ethereal. I think those are very visual words, and I think I'll definitely explore that with typography for sure.
My initial thoughts on the project, I had absolutely no idea what kombucha was, so I've just done a little bit of brief research and it sounds great. So I am thinking of something, as you say in the brief, something quite ethereal, but having looked at the competitors, it seems quite ultra modern, sort of, flat vibes but fun. So I don't know if I want to go with something that is completely left field and really make it stand out against those competitors.
First impressions of Jay, I think he seems like a really nice guy, someone I'd love to hang out with. I will definitely take a look at his work if I get his website link at some point. But yeah, seems like a nice guy, and it'll be good. I think my strategy to win, just definitely take my time, just doing some research, searching for good inspiration, and trying not to do something too cliche or too obvious. Maybe definitely hope to do something that's outside of the box. I hope I'm gonna win.
So my first impressions of Daniel, I'm not gonna lie, I did do some Instagram stalking before the call, and wow, his work is incredible. Slightly nervous, but you know, he seems like a top guy. We'll have fun with it, hopefully. I don't really have a strategy to win at all. I'm more going into this completely blind and just going to try and have as much fun with it as I can.
We now know how they both feel about the brief and their rough ideas, so let's see how they're getting on with their logo creation process.
In the beginning of the process, I started kind of thinking, you know, what am I gonna do? I have no clue, and if I only have a week, and so I started kind of doubting my ability to complete this, but I just kept going. You gotta get over that
I've taken the brief and just completely made a right mess of it, and yeah, just things that come to mind. Next thing was I just took a bunch of words from the brief and looked at some ideas with them. So took dark, mysterious, enchantment, magic, mystery, starry nights, cosmic nights, all that kind of stuff, and just whatever my initial ideas with those were. And then I highlighted most of them. Well, no, in fact no, about maybe a third of them. And oh, this has been so fun. So far, I've got like enchantment, moonrise, energy, apothecary, starry night, and cryptids and creature. So I've done some research, like how enchantment could be like a, you know, ritual or, you know, some sort of healing. I thought a lot of Minecraft.
As far as challenges or problems, I think honestly, this being a 1 week project was a little challenging. I'm used to, you know, having definitely more time to create, and especially, you know, having other things to do was challenging.
Hello, I am midway through doing some image boards, trying to look at competitors, look at different designs that are in the industry. Kombucha is something that I've never really heard of before, but I'm comparing it to sort of like beers and stuff. So instead of looking at Google, I'm going to nip to Tesco's and look for some inspiration there. Might work. Because I'm thinking of going down the route of like craft, apothecary, all that kind of jazz. Maybe, I don't know at this point. I'm looking at a lot of the
Let's go after Daddy and
craft beer stuff. So it's really just taking photos of stuff and seeing what's popular, what maybe could work, and then what to stay away from. And I might stay away from all of it if we're come up with something that's totally new. So yeah, inspiration from around me.
So I started this process kind of just writing down a lot of words, and I went down the path of playing into the kind of mysterious and ethereal nature of the brand that was specified on the brief, and kind of just writing down words, doing a mind map of words. It kind of led me down the path of trying to kind of like a medieval look or illustration style and typography style.
Tuesday. Now that was interesting. I'd developed what I thought would be the concept that I'd want to go for, and the way that it was going just wasn't working at all. Yeah, big problem. The route I've went down creating my logo, it's a sort of mainly a conceptual thing where there's a lot of potential with the marketing and branding of it as well. So my idea is based off of the Jade Rabbit. It's a Chinese story because kombucha originates in China. It's this lovely story, which I hope I'm getting right, of a jade-coloured rabbit that lives on the moon and makes tokens of immortality. So I've created this moon rabbit mascot nothing too complex, but something, a little bit cute there, but it's, almost got a craft vibe to it. And the idea behind it is, for the entire project, the entire brand, it should come together as if it's like you're drinking an elixir of life, or you're drinking a potion. So that should feed into the wellness side of things. It should feed into the the story of it.
At the beginning, I wasn't super confident. I was kind of nervous about this challenge, but I again, I just kept going, kept creating and finessing the design, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I hope I'll be able to win, but even if not, I'm proud of the work I did, and I'm excited to see what Jay came up with as well.
Okay, it's been 1 week since we've seen the designers, and now I'm with Sam, who's going to help me decide who the winner is. Daniel, tell me what you've been up to this past week.
Yeah, Will. This week I started off just reading through the brief again and just soaking it all in, trying to put myself in the mind of the right target audience, and just see what inspiration comes to mind. And then I usually start these types of projects just writing a lot of words that come to mind. Yeah, that led me through kind of finding inspiration, and through to what I think is a good design.
You're so humble. You should be like, no, this is how I did it, and you're going to be so so impressed by it. No, I'm looking forward to it.
This is going to blow your mind.
And that's going to be used out of context.
Oh.
It's going to be like... Well, Daniel, I'm really excited to see it. Let's take a look.
Here's my logo.
Oh,
look at that.
Okay.
I can see the inspiration.
Daniel, do you want to walk us through the design process and how you did this?
Yeah. Again, pointing out some things from the brief and kind of our first call, trying to lean into the mystical and ethereal and mysterious nature, and then doing kind of a word study and some mind mapping. It kind of led me to this, what if this brand was inspired by medieval art, kind of a medieval Bible or something. And so that's a lot of the inspiration I looked into, and really liked the etched illustrations. And then I saw this chalice imagery that I just couldn't shake out of my head. And I thought, what if we drank kombucha out of a chalice? And of course has to have the moon, and we have this pattern in the background that resembles the stars, kind of in the moonlight. And the typography as well was inspired by these sort of medieval Gothic letters, and I just played around with it, and it inspired the typography for this logo, and then put it all together.
I love this style.
Thank you.
It's so nice.
Me too.
Me and Sam recently have been working on something that's quite similar, but for a completely different thing. We love this style, the type there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got it on point. It feels very calligraphic. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I completely agree. And fun fact, I actually wrote this brief and this is very in line with what I was envisioning. So you've really nailed it. And it's beautiful. I love the illustration, love the type. I'm actually curious, I noticed that the type has a little bit of texture, like rough edges to it.
Yeah, so the typography, it is a typeface that I found that I, just kind of looking at different Gothic and black letter styled typefaces, I found this one and I really loved. But to get that textured feel, I brought it onto Photoshop and just used a few of the textured effects there, and by accident I got those kind of that white inline in the typography that I really enjoyed. And so I decided.
Well, you did that by accident?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on having those inlines, and so it was a happy accident. Yeah. So like every good logo, we need good variations to be used in different spaces and different contexts. And so I just made a few, just the logo type or a badge or variations. And of course, we need color in this brand. And I thought that blue would be too obvious. So I kind of like this desaturated purple, having a lighter and darker values of it, and pairing it with these brown and beige combinations. It felt very medieval, but also felt right for the brand. And of course, it's not necessarily a final color palette. I can see, especially having different flavors of kombucha, I can definitely see, many other colors that could be used as secondary colors. And yeah, just a few mock-ups to show how this brand could look in the real world.
Is that generative AI with the kiwis?
I found the photo with kiwis already, and so I was like,
No way.
I guess I have to.
Perfect.
I can't just call it something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Kiwi
unreal.
kick.
I love it. Yeah, those mock-ups there really do sell it, especially because it fits perfectly within the badge or the label of it as well, which I love. Color combinations I like. You can definitely see a system. It's not something that would be sold at somewhere like Walmart. I can imagine it being something at like Whole Foods or in certain aisles where people are going for a health kick where all colors are muted down, and that sort of gives it this idea. I know it's a hard kombucha, however, it gives that sort of medicinal vibe to the whole thing because of the muted colors. It's not like barking for attention. It just looks interesting, kind of like an elixir. Can I point out one thing to you, Daniel, that is a slight issue? The bottom type isn't centered. That's my only thing. The only reason why I'm seeing it so clearly being unbalanced at the bottom is because when it's smaller, that accentuates the balance, and if it's off balance, you see it more. But I love the typeface choice that you've chosen there, and the composition of it. So that's like my only thing that I've seen, and that's not a dig. That's just me being a nerd. So yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it too when we saw it full screen.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you see during the presentation and you're like, I will not say anything. I will not say anything. Yeah, Jay, what do you think about this work?
So good. It's amazing. I really, really like it. It's completely different to my one in a really good way. I never thought of this sort of direction at all. So yeah, man, you've done great. Hats off.
Oh wow, the competition.
Awesome.
The competition is wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Jay, do you want to walk me through your process and tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so my process, as it happens with practically every project I have, is messy, is a roller coaster. I think it got somewhere that I think I'm quite proud of, and it works quite well as if it was a real client. But yeah, there were there were quite a few peaks and troughs and turns here and there.
Let's see your final work.
So here's my logo. Hope you like it.
Wow, this is
That's
different.
So fun.
I definitely went down more the fun sort of thing, and I think Daniel's is definitely more professional.
Yeah.
So
No, I wouldn't
we've
say that.
definitely
I wouldn't say that.
I wanted to show the logo next to a potion bottle that I'd modelled. I'd say that like I'm a 3D modeler. I'm really not. It was a thing I made in Illustrator and then put it into Dimension and then just added some textures to it. So it the can was imported and then I made that into a mock-up as well. So I'm not that fancy with that. But I wanted to show where the sort of vibe I was going was. I made a couple of different flavours, but the first main one was that kind of blue stardust flavour I was thinking. So in my research I'd noticed most brands like this always have the the fruit or the flavour on the front of the can. I wasn't wanting to go down that route because I thought I could maybe do something hella different and really unique. But after not having those flavours on there, it felt slightly disjointed and a little bit too abstract. So I feel like if the flavour wasn't on there, then it wouldn't have been the best idea. So the colours derived from these flavours and so did the background. So you'll notice how the swirls in the background, it's sort of an ode to Van Gogh Starry Night. It's got no tie-in with the Chinese theme or the theme of the actual narrative, apart from I just thought it would look quite nice, and I feel like it kind of fits that moon crescent vibe as well.
I see it.
The logo itself, the rabbit, I tried to make it almost like it's it's been inked on, or it's a stamp, something that's hard, hard edges, it's handmade, because it brings it back to that era where things weren't too clean, which was really tough for me not to have something that was clean, because I'm quite a fan of really clean logos. But I thought it worked quite nicely. There's also a Chinese symbol for rabbit in there, but looking back, I feel like either it doesn't work too well, or I could have used something else. I could have maybe had, the word for immortality. But the idea with the logo is there's the rabbit in the negative space looking up at a star because it's fun, and then there's almost like a crescent moon shape in the negative space at the left. So I think it turned out better than my initial designs were. I would have definitely loved to spend some more time on it, but I think it's at a place where it's good for presentation.
What I appreciate about the design of it is it's very human. It doesn't feel corporate in any way, yet you can read it. It's innocent and it feels kind of mystical, which is what I like. You've got this sort of, ooh, what's this? It feels kind of fairy tale, and I like that. So with your work here, to me, it feels very professional and very authentic in a way, but also quite fun because it's not taking itself like too seriously. And the story behind the rabbit, I like it. The only thing is sometimes it looks like it's looking down on itself, and I don't know why, but that's the only thing. I think it's where the eye thing is. I don't know how you'd fix that. And big props to you for like actually going into dimension and like bringing 2D objects and making them 3D to create your own sort of little elixir. Really like that, because that as a brand creating, you see like Jack Daniels and other brands create their own glasses to sell alongside things. That's a really big thing. But the design as a whole, I'm really enjoying it. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, just looking at it for the first time, I could tell that there's so much story behind it, so much personality, and I love that. And the logo type really ties into the style of the logo mark, the sort of hand-drawn, mystical stamp vibe. It flows perfectly, and you did a great job.
You. Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
Well, thank you both for sharing your work. Now, me and Sam need to go and have a chat and choose the winner.
So, Will, we've got to make a choice. It's a tough one. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. They've both given very different ideas and designs for the same brief, which is not what you would normally find. Mm-hmm. One thing I liked about Daniel's work was his medieval inspiration, which is something I think we're both big fans of, right? Yeah, like this sun here, some of this handwork going on with the stippling, the etched look. It's just really pretty. Yeah, it's just lovely.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
His idea of a chalice was really interesting, actually, because it does feel kind of spiritual, but it doesn't look like it. So this is his chalice here, and I really appreciate his line work in there. It's a very difficult to make it look 3D in this etched form. Each line works really well, and even if I zoom in, if we go right in, you can see how it just feels old. Everything, every little point, it's consistent but old.
Yeah, that texture is really beautiful. I mean, I love this style personally, and I try to draw in this style, and it's just so difficult. So he did a great job.
Yeah, it is a difficult style to sort of master, because it's kind of the opposite of what you do when you draw. You have to have the idea of it being etched out. And then he's added this sort of like crescent in there, which does have spiritual aspects towards it. But when it comes with the hand, with the chalice and the moon, there's a really nice sort of, I don't know, ethereal, medieval stained glass window sort of idea happening, which tells a story of its own, which is amazing. Type-wise, his inspiration is right up my street. I love medieval type. Look at it. It's just so beautiful, and the way that he did his type, incredible. It just feels so balanced, right?
It does, yeah. And it's like, it's that style, but it's sort of got a twist to it. It's not literally in a Gothic style or literally in a medieval style. It's got its own personality to it, its own modern vibe to it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I think that modern vibe actually comes from the proportions of it, because it's so in line. He said it was a font that he's gone into Photoshop and manipulated. He accidentally got these cool etches in the middle, which just adds more of that feeling of it being worn away over time. And the fact if I zoom in again, you can see how natural it looks. It doesn't feel like a font, but it just feels very precisely etched in. Again, there's only that one issue here underneath Moonrise where his subtext wasn't balanced against it. It wasn't aligned correctly, but that's an easy mistake to fix as well. Mock-ups, huge. They look amazing, don't they?
They really do.
Look at how it just, you can tell it's kiwi flavor right there. I like the whole composition of everything. So even though his logo is at the top, he's used just a standard grid system at the bottom just to put kiwi kick and the fluid ounces. It just fits nicely. Let's have a look at Jay's design to compare. So Jay's design was completely different, but also has some similarities. I think the actual logo type itself, I really appreciate it being quite playful. The only bit I don't like about it is this eye. It kind of just drops to the right. But I do appreciate the little dot, the little star dot.
The tail of the R is a little too close to the serif of the R.
Yes,
I would just move that over just a tad to make it more legible.
I would. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's very difficult for this as well because it doesn't even arc out. Normally, the tail of an R would like arc out and then come down. But I can see what he's trying to do there. But, you know, in a sense, in a way, it being kind of rough, it doesn't take away too much from it. But yeah, from a typographical perspective, I'd like to have seen that just taking a bit more care on the art. The rabbit. This is different. He chose this rabbit because he found the sort of idea of a rabbit in space or on the moon making elixirs for people. I like
Such
that
a cool
lot.
story. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah, like how
So
cute
cute.
is that? Like, where did you get kombucha and rabbit from?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, Jay's color scheme is completely different. It's contrasting. It feels very hard hitting. But what I do appreciate is actually this text down here where it says hard kombucha. It's in this, again, etched type. It doesn't feel like it's a font, which makes everything just feel nice. It makes you feel like it's all hand done.
Yeah, it's really, everything's tied in together and feels like it's the same brand.
Yeah.
And I love how he brought the wave of the pattern in the background. He brought that into the flavors.
Yeah, he did. It's clever. You can see here. That wave, he was saying it's from Starry Night, inspired by Van Gogh. For me, that's more of like Japanese or Chinese calligraphy with those huge brushes where they just like slide them across the paper and it looks cool. I think it's more in tune with that. However, the fact that he said it's from Van Gogh, the inspiration, it's really lent itself to the background pattern becoming quite original in that sense. Especially here for this, he's gone for like this whole Starry Night aesthetic here. If he kept it to the Japanese or the Chinese calligraphy, it would look cool, even with a little animation, although we didn't buy an animation of him.
So let's try and figure this out. If I'm envisioning myself shopping for hard kombucha, personally, this is just based on my aesthetic and style, I would probably lean towards Daniel's just because I really, really love that medieval style.
Completely agree with you. I think Daniel's work as a designer who has an appreciation for it, I would buy it and just keep it in the office. Similar to like Liquid Death. You know, the cans look cool, everything looks great on them. It feels very aesthetic. And, you know, for us, I feel like we're swayed in that way. Like our opinions are swayed of what we buy because we know what like our styles, we enjoy them. However, Jay's feels more mass market, which is not like less or worse or anything. It just feels the design is more cohesive to being in something like Walmart or something that's in these grocery stores. However, you see Daniel's work, you'd find it in specific places, specific stores that would have these high-end drinks, and it really does feel different. And I think that is because, not just because of like the logo, but the mock-ups as well. I think Jay's mock-ups are good. However, they do lean themselves to more mass market mock-ups because they're one in cans. Two, you can see the flavor profiles very easily. It's very vibrant, the flavor profiles. However, with Daniel's work, they feel very muted. So it feels more medicinal in a sense, rather than something that's alcoholic that you would just drink for fun. Those are my thoughts. I think we have a clear winner though, right? For me and you, and the reasons why.
Absolutely. Yes, I think we do.
Welcome back to the call, and thank you for waiting. Me and Sam have had a chat, and we've loved both of your work. Genuinely, your works have been amazing, but we have to have a winner. But first, what I want to know is how much we actually paid you for this, because I don't actually know yet, nor does Sam. So we don't know how much you've been paid. Would you, Jay, like to tell us how much we paid you?
I sure can. You have paid us a grand total of $275.
Wow, dude. Is that all?
That's it.
Hey, you should keep that in the video as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's going in the video. I can tell you that. You need to charge more. Okay, well, Daniel, how much did we pay you?
For this project, I charged $450.
Dude, you need to charge more as well.
Wow. Yeah, you both need to charge more. You're worth way more
Thank
than
you,
that.
yeah.
Seems to be a running issue that we're having with very talented designers
Yes.
who aren't charging enough. If you don't mind me asking, why did you charge that amount, or why don't you charge more?
It's the sort of thing I've been told quite often. You're not the first person to tell me I should be charging more. There's a lot of imposter syndrome as well with that. But practically, I thought, okay, how long is this going to take me? How often this week will I be working on this? And then I did think of a sort of £25 an hour range for how long it would take me. But the great Chris Doe has said before that value-based pricing is also something I should definitely consider. So, yeah.
100. Daniel, what about you?
Yeah, I charged $450. I think in my mind, I know my worth is more than that, but part of me, kind of like what Jay said, is thinking of my experience level. I don't know if I can justify, or it's kind of that imposter syndrome of not knowing how to justify, being out of college, not being in the industry professionally for that long.
With that being said, though, we've gone with Daniel as the winner simply because, and this is very biased, we love the aesthetic that you've created, and we know that chalice illustration with the etches in there, very difficult to do. Jay's work was still just as amazing. We really praised it, not only because of the inspirations with like the rabbit, with the starry night and the colors and everything that you've brought in, but because of the way that it felt quite innocent. It felt very mythical, fairy tale. It had that idea to it. So with that being said, yeah, well done, Daniel, for being the winner. But that is just what we say. That doesn't mean Jay isn't a winner, because like, honestly, it was really difficult.
It was very hard. We were like, oh
exactly,
my God, what do we
which
do?
idea? Because like we really appreciate both of them. And what the coolest thing is that one brief, two very different ideas, but with a lot of similarities in them. And I can tell you what, there's going to be a lot of people who say that Jay's work they'll prefer. And there'll be a lot of people that say Daniel's work they prefer. But in my mind, I think you've created perfectly what you would think you would see in the shops. I wish we didn't have to do winners, but that's YouTube. And they forced me to do it. So that's the way it goes. So well done, guys.
Well done, Daniel. Well done, Daniel.
Great
You did
job.
great.
Yeah, well, I'm honored to be picked as the winner. It was a super fun project, and I'm proud of the work I did. And I do think, my work, I think fits the brief well. But that being said, I think, Jay, you did an amazing job, and like Will said, this could completely work for maybe a different target audience, or certainly many people will like that style better. And I love to see the same brief but 2 different design styles. So props to you as well.
It's all down to the style. Jay, what do you think?
I mean, if I could just reiterate what Daniel said, yeah, well done, man. You did great. It was nice to see something that, take the same concept and completely just rip it to shreds and to go completely different areas. So yeah, this has been really fun. I've loved this. This has been a nice change from other client work. So thank you.
Well, guys, it doesn't have to end there. If you found that you want to change something now, go ahead and change it, and you can always put it on your portfolio after, because your portfolios are all linked down in the description below. So if there's any person watching who wants to hire these amazing designers, then go to the links in the description, go and hire them. Their prices have some zeros at the end of them now, so be warned. It's a good thing. If you have an interesting brief you'd like to see the designers tackle this summer, leave it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please share it with your friends. We want to get a massive sponsor budget for week 5 and I'm not Mr. Beast. So get sharing if you enjoyed, and let's make it happen. Head over to my Instagram or YouTube community tab on my channel for more information on how you can take part. Have a great weekend and see you next Friday.